rules. We're doing a draft school episode. We're in a Eldraine quick draft right now. I just started, and we're gonna be going through trying to get into a lane. It's a little harder on quick draft because obviously we're not drafting against human players. The bots basically have a priority that they rank all the cards, so they're not really picking in a archetype sense, but more of a, I guess you would say, power level sense. I mean, you barely ever have rares past. Kind of like playing against somebody that's just rare drafting. But anyway, this is our pack 1, pick 1. We opened a Bone Crusher Giant in the rare, which is probably going to be our pick. It's one of the better adventure cards, and get a good removal and a big stat creature for just 3 mana. Some other cards in note: Reef Souls, good removal. Charm Sleep's also good removal. Smitten Swordmaster fits pretty good in any kind of Knights deck. If you're running, obviously, a lot of Knights is a good finisher, but not too much more note. But yeah, we're just gonna grab this Bone Crusher Giant. It can fit into a Knight deck, or hopefully, if we can get some good blue cards or the payoffs for the red-blue draw 2 deck is pretty powerful. So let's go ahead and just grab that. The next pack. Alright. Keeper of Fables is good. Oakham Adversary is also good. And the uncommon. At common, not much stands out except Rimrock Knight's not bad if you're going super aggro, especially with Knights. Scolding Cauldron's reasonable removal. It's just a bit expensive and a little clunky. Didn't Say Please, obviously if you're in the mill deck, that's good. Overwhelmed Apprentice is also good in the mill deck. Mill's a little, you get a scry too, but I think with these two up, I'm sure none of these are gonna get passed back around. So we're probably gonna take the Keeper of Fables with a bigger payoff, because red-green creatures is a deck archetype. There are payoffs for running that, and this is one of the payoffs. Whenever one or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Oakham Adversary is also very good. It's got a card draw ability, and it has Death Touch, and you can get it out for less if you're playing somebody with green. But the stats on here are a little bit better, and it's also whenever one or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage. So it's not just this one that has to get in. So we're gonna just slam this and see next. Drown the Luck's great counterspell and removal if you were in that blue-black archetype. We're not really going for that as of right now. Golden Egg's also a good just colorless card, draw a card. It has some interactions with food, so that can be good. There's not much in the way of green and red right now. Shield Breaker is not. It could be a good sideboard card, but we were playing best at 1, so that's not really anything I'm super interested in getting. It's also a human, and our deck's looking more to play non-human creatures. Seven Dwarves is an alright 2-drop, but it's underwhelming. I think right now we could take the next best. We could take the Drown the Lock as probably the best card in the pack. Tome Raider is also good. I think actually what Tome Raider and Golden Egg both fit in the draw 2 deck, or in the draw deck. So I think taking either of those, even though Drown the Lock's pretty powerful with what we have and what we know is other good decks, we could probably take either of these. So I'm just gonna grab Golden Egg and keep us a little more open. Alright. Thrill is a big payoff for the blue-green deck. I'm trying not to be biased and start picking that when we don't have the payoffs for it yet. You really can't take... Opt's good all the time, but these pay off a lot more in the draw deck, but we don't really have the payoffs for that right now, so I'm not going to be looking to go into blue or that, just on the off chance that we get into that. Greenberg Paladin's great. It's a non-human, and if you can play it for the Adamant, it gets a +1 counter and can be blocked creatures 2 or less. Pretty strong, and since we already are going this way, I think I'm just going to continue with the Paladin. There is another Golden Egg. Tomb Raider, 7 Dwarves, Red Caps, pretty good in this deck. Again, non-human. You can tap another non-human, give it +1 and trample. Wintermore Commander's not bad if you're in Black-White Knights, but we're far from that. So we're just going to go with the Red Cap Raiders. Alright. Again, nothing super overwhelming that jumps out at us right now. Occam Ranger is good if you're in a monocolored deck, or if you are in the just green white, it can be good. Nothing else is really jumping out at me that could be useful or pull me into another color. We're probably not going to be doing a ton of sacrificing, so I'm not super up on Sorcerer's Broom. And it's just a 2-1, and paying 3 for another 2-1 and sacrificing something can get expensive, and just to make another broom. I think this is one where we just take the best card in the pack. Let's see what happens. Alright, not a lot of green or good red cards coming through. Let's see here. Merchant of the Veil. It's red. If we do end up pivoting into blue, the blue-red draw archetype, that wouldn't be a bad payoff, so let's just grab that. And it's really just nothing. You want to look for things that would draw you into a certain archetype or color pair, and then when there's nothing there, it's best to just continue on your course if you do have a playable plan. And we're definitely going to just grab Brimrock Knight. That came back around. And that's it's got a nice little combat trick and a strong 3-1 body. And it's also non-human. I think we're going to take the Wildwood Tracker over at the Ogre Errant, as we're not really having any interest with the Knights, really, except we do have the Paladin, but and more than likely we're not going to play the Ranger. Marrowleaf Rider's a fine 2-drop. Golden Egg that can interact with that. And I think we'll just take the Doors. Speed's really not as much of a concern, though. Not really high on those lands. Besides Mystic Sanctuary, anyway. Combat Trick, probably won't play that. 7 Doors might actually, if we keep getting them, it might be, might pay off. Alright, pack 2. Pick 1. Wow. Not much in the sense of red or green. Steadfast Queen. I mean, again, unless you're playing a mono white, all these nobles are kind of geared toward the mono color, so you're not gonna really want to play that in any deck that's got more than one color. So Tiny, Merfolk, those are great in the middle decks, but we're far from that. It's a little late to start trying to pull into that. Witching Well, same. We're just gonna... Greenberg Paladin's a good card. I don't mind having 2 ones. We're just gonna continue with the plan. Alright. Trebuchet's good with the knights, but we are not a heavy knight deck, so I'm not too concerned with that. What pops up is Sir Baron. He is a human, but his ability is relevant. So I think we're just gonna grab it. Alright. Again, nothing that really jumps out. Ginger Brute might be the pick here. We don't really have anything to equip to him, but I am interested in that interaction with the Keeper of Fables, being able to send him in unblockable, and be able to draw cards from that would be good. Spinning Wheel's good. It's more of a control kind of card, and we're aiming to be more of a beatdown deck. Thunderous Snapper. Again, it's one of those multicolored cards, so unless you are green monocolored or green blue, it's a little dangerous to play something like that. So yeah, we're gonna Ginger Brute here. Again, nothing that really jumps out. Some knights here. These are playable, but nothing special. All that glitters, it can be powerful, but again, there's a lot of removal, and it's risky trying to load up a creature with enchantments and then it dies is not great. Garenbrig Carver, I mean, is it's a decent. I kind of honestly like the combat trick a little bit more than the creature, but again, you're getting 2 for 1, so. Alrighty. There's another Carver. Not really interested in having more than one of those. Kinrith's transformation is honestly not terrible. It can get rid of even though it does make a 3/3, you can either get rid of their bomb or if you have something that's affected by like a one of their enemy aura or something like that, you can sometimes use that to get rid of that, and it replaces itself, so that's not bad. Frosty the Wilds is actually, I haven't played it a ton, but it can't. This is the deck that it's built for. Mainly the last part of this that gives your non-humans trample. Most of our creatures are going to be non-humans, and having the ability to trample over is pretty strong, so we'll grab that. Nothing spectacular here. Honestly, the Rosethorn Halberd's not going to be bad here again, because we're going to have a lot of non-human targets for it. Especially if you can get that on the Ginger Brute early, that becomes pretty strong. We'll take this Sporecap Spider. It's a really good defender, and especially for flying creatures. Really nothing here that we're going to play. I'll just grab it here, put that in our sideboard. Dwarven Mine, might actually play that. Again, nothing crazy. We'll probably just take this Knight. Human. Tall's being stuck. Don't like playing auras. Grandmother's got a chance. Alrighty. Well, there's an edge wall. Let's see if we have enough payoffs. Edge wall, whenever you cast a creature that has adventure, you draw a card. And we have 1, 2, 3 so far. It's not quite enough as of right now, and the likelihood that we're going to get a lot more good adventure adventure creatures is low, but let's see what else we have in the pack. That might honestly just hedge our bet and grab it, and if we pick up some more adventure creatures, that'd be good. Joust, I honestly might look into that too, just because we don't have a ton of removal, and we do have a couple, at least 2 knights that we could interact with this. This would be probably good too, because we do have a lot of bigger. We're gonna have a lot of bigger creatures. We just don't have the payoffs right now, and I think I'd rather have the removal. There's what we were looking for. Grumgolia is the payoff for the deck. Again, I can't really say that that was planned, because we are in just a regular non-premier draft, so I couldn't really say that this archetype was open, but we did. We ended up hitting the payoff for that. This is what makes this deck. So see if we can get some more payoffs. Now, Grumgolia makes something like this quite a bit better when it comes into play. And there's not much else to look at. So Raging Redcap. Alright. Searing Barrage, I'm not a super fan of, but we are a little light on removal spells, and that is a big one. And it does have Adamant, which can make a difference. And I think we're pretty good on creatures playable, so let's just go ahead and grab that removal. Fling is another, I think, a underrated card. That can be a great finisher, especially with all the big creatures that we're gonna have. And again, there's two other playable creatures, but they're not anything that one we already have, and 2 that I'd want more than one of. So let's grab Fling. Here we go. We're starting to get some payoffs. You do have to sacrifice a land if you target a non-red permanent with this, but that can be worth it, especially in the late game when mana is not really a priority. Nothing super interesting here. Might take this other Dwarven Mine, because again, they will come in with a +1 counter if you have Grumgolia out when that hits. Double Ferocity of the Wilds. I think that might be a little excessive, but we're just going to put that on the sideboard. Grab the Raging Alrighty, let's see what we got here. So, let's check out the mana. It's interesting that it has 6/2. I'm not going to be wanting to play a lot of taps. I'm fine playing 1, but I think 2 might be a little much. Alright, what do we got here? Let's trim a Wildwood Trick. We have plenty of creatures. 7 Dwarves might be terrible if you have both of those out. If they come in with +1/+1 counters. We got our 3 removal, 4 removal spells. With the beatdown decks like this, I mean, removal is always good, but it's always, to me, is not as important when you have big creatures that you're attacking with. And we do have some combat tricks too to deal with anything that comes up, and off the Bone Crusher Giant. We have the removal spell too. Let's look at some of these creatures we might cut out of here. But a lot of 3 drops. I think we can cut enough. red cap readers. Honestly, Merchant of the Veil is a human, which isn't in our deck archetype, and we're not really getting paid off to draw cards, so we're going to cut that as well. I mean, it can help against late game mana floods, but we're not trying to go to the late game with this beatdown deck. I think we're looking pretty good. I don't see anything that I really want to remove. I mean, this Garenberg Carbon, I mean, it's basically a 2 mana +2/+2 with a creature attached. I think that would be, if I was going to cut something, that would be it. Again, it's a human, not really going along with our payoffs for being green-red creatures. Yeah, this looks pretty good to me. Again, this is just a quick draft, so we weren't drafting against a human, but we were able to get a pretty decent deck, especially since everybody else that's doing the quick draft, they're drafting against spots too, and it's difficult to get into a highly synergistic deck sometimes, drafting against the computer. But this is a pretty good deck for a quick draft. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be doing these fairly often. Again, try to help people interested in getting into draft, navigate these drafts on Arena. Obviously, not doing much in store with the virus going on, but eventually, once things get back to normal, we'll be doing some content with actual paper, which I'm sure everybody is looking forward to getting back to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and you guys have a good one.